So I'm a tour guide in Istanbul, licensed, and I'm gonna bring you now inside the Blue Mosque. I'm gonna show you also the toilets, how to dress well, and at which time you can enter, and so on. So okay, today I'm gonna explain the Blue Mosque. This is the hippodrome, the horse racing arena in the Roman times, and the palace of the Byzantine emperor, Magna Ura, the big hall, was on the place of the Blue Mosque. There was a hill, and that was the palace. In the Ottoman times, there were the villas where the aristocratic families lived. Sultan Ahmed in 1609 bought this area, flattened the hill, and built the Blue Mosque on top of that. It's 407 years old now. So on the other side of the hippodrome is a university of Marmara University. Before that, the Blue Mosque had a lot of additional buildings, and the hospital of the Blue Mosque, the free kitchens where poor people could come and eat for free, was in that area. These got destroyed during that building, but behind that there are some additional buildings for that. But there's an entrance, it leads directly to the toilets, but I'm gonna enter from the main side, okay? So go beyond the obelisk, and then there is the entrance. This is where the Sultan entered. So okay, I'm on the main entrance. You see there's a chain. I'm gonna touch it for you. So that chain is for the Sultan, because the Sultan entered the mosque on horseback, because it showed authority, right? And he had to bow down to go to the mosque, and he chose to Mecca. So he had to bow down before God to enter the Blue Mosque. The Sultans had also big turbans and big horses. You know, they had to bow a lot. Big turban because that's their mummification linen. When they die, they are mummified with the turban. Whenever they looked at the mirror, they saw their mummification linen. So they reminded themselves that they are gonna die. They also paid the slave every day to come and to whisper to their ears that they are gonna die. So the sultans were religious, especially Sultan Ahmed, who built the Blue Mosque, was a highly religious man. Now let's get inside. So Muslims can enter from that gate, and directly the tourists have to go to the right side, and then there's an entrance where they check your dress. Look, this is how you should dress properly. Look, it has to surpass the knee for men, okay? And women, it has to come like this. So headscarf. You can borrow this, by the way. You don't have to buy it like in the Hagia Sophia. And you return it on the exit. The exit is this way, but for tourists it's that way. I'm acting like a tourist, and I'm gonna this way. There's a minaret. The muezzin goes inside. There's a stair inside going up, and you see there are two balconies because there were two people, muezzins we call them. They call to prayer. Today there are speakers up there, and the muezzin today just goes inside. There's a microphone, and then it is broadcasted here all live. We have 6 minarets because the Sultan was the 6th Sultan after the conquest of Constantinople. And the minarets have 16 balconies altogether, because the Sultan was the 16th Sultan since Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. By the way, there is a legend that says that the Sultan just wanted 1 minaret out of gold, and he told his architect, build me a golden minaret, and he understood that he should build 6, because in Turkish gold means altın, 6 means altı. So he misunderstood, he made it to 6. It's a famous story, but I don't believe in that. But it's a very famous story here in Turkey. Here you can make ablution. If you're a Muslim, you can pray, wash yourself before entrance. And now I'm gonna to the toilet because I made the tour of Grand Bazaar. You can watch it. Oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna get inside, and it's for free. It's the best toilet you can get here around, by the way. You don't have to visit the mosque. Even if you don't want to visit the mosque, just come here. Normally there is a huge line to get inside. Now it says it's closed for tourists. But you can still see the inner courtyard. That's the gate where the tourists usually enter. They enter from here, and at the building behind there's a checkpoint, and they loan you the scarves and so on. And then you go up the stairs here, and then you walk here, go through this one, and then you enter here, okay? And I'll meet you inside. Meow. Meow. They are taking the tourists also inside. Normally they don't do this. So the Muslims enter through that gate normally. But you can try your way inside here too. So you have to put your shoes out as these people to get inside. So on the red one you have to be without the shoes. And on the inside there are some shelves you can put the shoes in on. So before you enter, look up. Look, it looks like an owl, because this is the symbol. That animal is a symbol of wisdom. Enter from that gate, and that's the mosque. You come and put your shoes here on the shelf. That's the first thing you do. And then let's look at the mosque together. Look how magnificent it is. It's one of the most beautiful mosques in the world. Built 407 years ago by Emperor Sultan Ahmed I, and the architect was Sedefkar Mehmet Ağa. So the dome is 43 meters high, not 56 like the Hagia Sophia. To respect the Hagia Sophia, the Ottoman mosques had to be shorter than the Hagia Sophia, because the Hagia Sophia is the symbol of imperium, right? So this is 46 meters high, around 23 meters diagonal. It is circular, not elliptical like the Hagia Sophia. And in the mosque there are 21,000 tiles, Islamic tiles. You see them on the upper floor mostly, and most of them have the color blue, right? And if you look at the windows, the predominant color is blue. And in the 17th century, the travelers from Europe visited that mosque and called it the Blue Mosque, because they couldn't say Sultan Ahmed Mosque. It's too difficult for Europeans. However, the official name of the mosque is the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, because it was built by Sultan Ahmed. All the mosques are named after their sultan. For example, the mosque Sultan Süleyman built is named Süleymaniye Mosque. Maybe I'm gonna do a video about that as well. We also have different mosques. Selimiye Mosque in Edirne, built by Sultan Selim, and so on. And the President Erdogan built a new mosque on the Asian side, the Çamlıca Mosque, the biggest mosque in Turkey. That name is not the Erdogan Mosque, just for you to know, because he is not a sultan, not yet. So in the Ottoman times, women used to pray on the upper floors. The tiles on the upper floors are very beautiful. Maybe you've seen them in the Topkapi Palace as well. And as in the Hagia Sophia, there's a balcony behind, a bigger one. In the Hagia Sophia, there was the queen watching the ceremonies. Here, all the women were up there. Not just in the mosques, in the Middle Ages and in the New Age, all the churches and the synagogues in Istanbul also had places, different places for women to worship. And if you look at the ground, there are some lines, see? And there's a space between them, because the Muslims, their feet is on the line and they pray here. They bow down towards Mecca. That niche shows where Mecca is located. And above the niche, there's a verse from the Quran. It is about the Holy Mary. It says, whenever Mary was in the Temple of Solomon, the angels brought her food from the paradise. So that niche symbolizes the room of Mary in the Temple of Solomon of Jerusalem. So tourists are not allowed to come here. Look, all of them are behind. You are lucky that I'm a Muslim, so I can go forward and show you some things. So we have 4 of these thrones. This is for the Imam. In between prayer times, the Imam comes here and has speeches, theological mostly. We also have one here, you see, and also 2 also on that side. Because in Islam there are 4 accepted schools, and the Turkish people, they follow the Hanefi school. So look at the beautiful carpets on the front. Tourists don't see these carpets. Different colors. You see how beautiful that is? And look, we have geometrical symbols here. That throne, stair, by the way, it goes up. I'm gonna show it to you. Look, here it says, in the name of Allah, the most merciful. And here it says, there's only one God, and it is Allah. It says Allah here. And when I open this up, look, it goes up. And on Friday prayers and on religious festivals, the Imam uses that stairs to go up. and he held a speech there for the Muslims, and that stair is respected because it symbolizes the throne of the Prophet Muhammad in Islam, the last messenger in Islam. I talked about the inscription about Mary. The reason is Muslims accept Jesus, Mary, Moses, Noah, Adam, and so on, all the biblical prophets. A lot of Christians do not know this, but it is the fact. They accept, or even Mary, and the name of Mary is on the front. So we have beautiful windows here. I can zoom in. Look how beautiful that is. And you see there are mostly flower motifs. We have a lot of different motifs in the Blue Mosque. Mostly tulips, because the tulip symbolizes God, and the rose symbolizes the Prophet Muhammad, because he loved roses. Look, the things that tourists do not see. You are lucky. There are big chandeliers, big candles. They are lighted up and they are held. Look, that's so that they don't fall down. And these are lighted, and it takes a long time until they finish. These are special types of candles. I don't know from which material they are made, but they are very expensive actually. So okay, now let's look at the front. Look, this is where the tourists are, probably you now when you're watching inside the mosque. So I'm here, and let's see outside what we see. Wow, surprise! Look, we have the Bosphorus, the Marmara Sea, and this is Asia on the other side. So from here we can see Asia. Of course, previously there were not so many trees, there were not so buildings like this, so the people, they could look to the Bosphorus beautifully. Now we have some buildings here. These were not from the original construction. And look what we have here. We have the crescent of the Blue Mosque. Look, the old crescent probably, standing on a garden. Look, these doors are original from the Ottoman times. And this is mother of pearl. And in Turkish we call them sedef work. So they put these mother of pearls into the wood carvings, and they don't use any hammers or any nails. This is like puzzle. They put it in and it stays. Very difficult to do. And the architect of the Blue Mosque started his career as a sedef. That's why his name is Sedefkar Mehmed Ağa. Mehmed Ağa, who makes these things, mother of pearls. On the walls there is the Holy Quran. Look, people usually they come here, they watch the natural world, and they open the Quran. I will open it for you. They say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful. And this is Arabic language, and they read the Quran from Arabic. A lot of Turkish people, they don't understand Arabic, so they also have an additional book which shows the translation of that. But right now it's the only Quran. The thrones I talked about earlier, very beautiful carvings. Look at this, look at this. And it's not so comfortable to sit here. And this is for the muezzin. After he calls to prayer, he comes here to aid the imam, because not everyone can see the imam. Now the thing is, Muslims, they stand here during prayers on the lines, shoulder to shoulder, like an army. And they follow the imam, which stands here on the front, and they follow the movements of the imam. And they look at the imam, of course, to see how he reacts. And people behind that construction, they cannot see the imam. So the muezzin up there, he shows them what the imam does and what he says. This is how it is spread here. By the way, the acoustic in the Blue Mosque is amazing. When the imam, look at the beautiful carpets here. When the imam speaks here on the front, I'm gonna show it to you, look. This is the front. And that small thing, it symbolizes the Temple of Solomon. We have now the Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. It is the symbol of that. If he speaks here loudly, anyone can understand him, because his voice goes up to the dome. And inside the dome there are drums which accelerate, enhance the voice. and then they spread it equally in the room, so everyone can understand him. Even the man who is standing far behind, they can understand the Imam when he speaks. That's an acoustical miracle here. And a lot of people don't know, but we have ostrich eggs here. The ostrich eggs are made to prevent the spiders and also some insects to enter the mosque. And there was a study that showed that for 70% or so, the spiders are not coming near an ostrich egg. They don't know why yet. Maybe because of an energy it spreads. So we don't have any spider webs inside the Blue Mosque as the churches in Europe. We also have an underground heating. There was a hammam of Blue Mosque. The hot waters in the hammam goes through this to the Golden Horn, and it is heated in the winter from below. So everything was thought about. And look at the chandelier, how big that is. And it comes from the middle of the dome, because if it would be up, nobody would see. It would be dark here, all right? So they hanged it down so the below is lighted up. By the way, that flag is actually from the Kaaba. This is brought from Kaaba, the holiest mosque in Islam, located in Saudi Arabia. I can zoom in so you can see it. There was a huge restoration in the Hagia Sophia, in the Blue Mosque. I came here in 2012. It was under restoration, and it was opened just 1 year ago. Quite new. So if you are here, very lucky to you. I mean, a lot of people for 10 years or so, they couldn't visit the Blue Mosque. Look, on top it says in Arabic, Ya Hadrati Bilal Habeshi. Bilal Habeshi is the first muezzin in Islam in the time of Prophet Muhammad. It is his name, and it is written with the smoke of the candles. Look, previously the chandeliers, they had candles, right? And the smoke goes up. In some mosques, there are places where the smoke is collected through ventilation in one room. And these are then took, and then these were used to write something on. And these were written from these black smokes of the mosque, because the Turkish people said everything in the mosque is holy, even the smoke of the mosque. It's incredible. Now look at these beautiful tiles. Look, this is the place where you enter usually. There are the toilets. Yeah, look, this is the place where you enter usually, where the tourists walk, but they are not allowed to come here. So they don't see this. Oops. Look at the beautiful tiles. They are mostly plant and flower symbols, because in Islam and in Judaism, it's not allowed to make pictures inside the mosques and in the synagogues, because it's symbolizing the worship of idols in the ancient times, and both are strictly monotheistic. So most of the windows, by the way, look, for example, the windows on the dome, we have 260 windows, and these are mostly not original. These are from the 18th century, because there was a huge earthquake and it destroyed most of the original windows. We still have some stained glass like this. These are original. So also in the middle, these were very famous in the Mediterranean Sea, these beautiful windows. All the designs, look, all the designs in the Blue Mosque, this is for the acoustic, so that the voice can go up to the dome and then come back again. To go inside that construction, you need to take this way, but it's now closed. There's a special room for the Imam, so he can rest and prepare for the prayers. So before the electricity, natural blue light comes in. Look at this. This is blue light. During sunset and sunrise, blue light comes in. So everything was blue. That's why the Europeans called it the Blue Mosque, by the way. Look, I'm now in the middle of the Blue Mosque. It looks very beautiful from below, isn't it? So on the corner, you see there's a place behind that. It's under restoration. That was the place where the Sultan prayed, Sultan Ahmed. And there's a way going outside, and he has a room. I mean, there's an addition to the Blue Mosque. A lot of people don't see because it's under restoration, but it goes away. I mean, there's a building attached to the Blue Mosque. It's the place of the Sultan. That balcony leads to that additional building, so the Sultan can rest and prepare for the prayers. Look, on the candles it says in Arabic, Masha Allah. When Muslims and Turkish people, when they see a beautiful thing, they say Masha Allah, because they believe if they don't say this, something bad might happen. So they always say Masha Allah to remind themselves that everything is from Allah. So the interesting history behind the Blue Mosque is that the Ottomans lost the war against the Austrians. There was a war, 13 years war against the Habsburg Empire, and there was a different sultan at the time in the power. When Sultan Ahmed came to power, he wanted to end the war, so he made a peace treaty. And at that peace treaty, the Habsburg Empire got a lot of privileges, and the Ottoman Empire lost in the diplomacy. So that was a shock for the Ottomans, and there were a lot of uprisings in the Ottoman Empire. We call it the Jalali rebellions. So a lot of tribes in Anatolia rebelled against the Ottoman Sultanate. So there was a lot of turmoil in the time of Sultan Ahmed. He was a young sultan, by the way, and he didn't have a lot of money. The taxes got high, very high, so the population were very angry, and they could not pay their bills, and they were angry because they lost the wars, right? And so the Sultan wanted to show the world and the population that the empire is still strong, like Star Wars. So he wanted to build something big. And he decided to build a huge mosque, the Blue Mosque. But the problem is, normally when the sultans build a mosque, they build it out of the spoil of war. In the Islamic law, the Sharia, when a sultan conquers a land, 1/5 of the spoil of war comes to the sultan. 4/5 of the spoil of war goes to the army. So with that 1/5, the sultan, the pocket money of the sultan, he builds himself big constructions like this. However, Sultan Ahmed lost the war. He didn't win a war, so that's why he had to take the money from the treasury. And all the people were against it. The ulama, the Islamic scholars were against it. Still, he made it. He was very eager to build this, to show the power. He was also religious. He wanted to build something for Islam. However, the population protested. They didn't enter the Blue Mosque. And the ulama, the Islamic scholars, they also told the population that it is forbidden to pray inside the Blue Mosque because it was built by the people's money, unjustly. It's crazy. So the Sultan brought Islamic artifacts like the footprint of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam here inside the Blue Mosque. So people visited the mosque to see the Islamic artifacts. So they gradually started coming back to the Blue Mosque. There's a famous story in Turkish circles. They say Sultan Ahmed brought the footprint of Prophet Muhammad from the tomb of a Mameluke king in Egypt, from Cairo. He took it without any justifications, and he brought it here. And at that night, the Sultan Ahmed, he saw the Prophet Muhammad in his dream. The Prophet was the judge, and he was judged by the Mameluke king from Egypt. So he said to the Prophet, he stole your precious footprint from my tomb without asking me or whatever. And the Prophet commanded Sultan Ahmed to bring the footprint back to Cairo. It is still in Cairo, by the way. And after he woke up, the Sultan wrote to his chief scholar, and he responded, why do you ask me? I mean, he wrote a letter back to the Sultan. He said, how can you ask me about this when the Prophet commanded you to do something? He is above me. So the Sultan knew what to do. He brought the artifact back to Egypt. So there is an Islamic information place where you can have some information about Islam. So while we are here, I sat down because I'm tired because of the many walking I did today. I did different videos also besides that. So let me explain to you a little bit about Islam. There are three big movements of Islam today. I can say that the Turkish Islam, the Arabic Islam, and the Persian Islam, so the Iranian Islam. Three big movements. The most liberal, the most tolerant is the Turkish Islam. If you want to see why, if you want to have a proof, you can go to the Hagia Sophia. All the Christian icons, they stay. The crosses got not destroyed. I mean, if that was, for example, in Afghanistan, probably the Taliban, they would destroy these things, right? So the Turkish people, they have a broader understanding of Islam because the Turkish people, they were shamanic tribes before they accepted Islam. And they believe that the soul of God is in everything. So in stones, in trees, everywhere. And they believe that also humans, the human soul is God. So every human being is God. It's in the essential meaning. It's very difficult to talk about these things, this spiritual stuff. But they say even Jesus, everything, also Jesus, they have some godly sense in them. So that's why they tolerated that the Christians call Jesus God. I mean, they didn't believe that he was the Son of God, but they believed in the universal soul. We call it the Wahdat-i Wujud. It's in spiritual Islam. We call it the Tasawwuf. Maybe you know about the flying dervishes. The turning dervishes. They turn around because they understood that everything has a unity. Everything comes from Allah and goes to Him back again, and so on. So spiritual Islam is very present in Turkish Islam. In Arabic Islam, it's more literal. They look at the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad. We call it the Hadith. And they try to take it literally, and they try to implement it in real life. While the Turkish people, they don't enforce the Sharia, the Islamic law, as harsh as the other Muslim groups. A lot of people think that Islam, when they think of Islam, they think of Arabic people, but you would be surprised to know that most of the Muslims are not Arabic. So Arabic people are a very small percent from the Islamic world. So don't judge the Muslims by looking at Saudi Arabia, by looking at Iran and so on. So look at Malaysia, Indonesia, they have the highest Islamic population. They don't have these things. So there's a chapter in the Quran called Maria, which explains the story of Mary, the child of Jesus. The child of and the youth of Jesus is not present in the Bible. However, in the Quran, it is explained, which is very interesting. I mean, a lot of Western people, they read the Tao Te Ching, they read the Bhagavad Gita, but they don't read the Quran because they think that we Muslims, we are the enemy, right? Because they fought in the past and so on. But put the wars away, put the politics away. Just look it to gain some wisdom. I read the Bible several times, I read the Tao Te Ching and so on, and I try to learn everything every time I read. So I strongly recommend you to read the Quran, to have some different understanding of the things maybe you were not aware before. By the way, they say that 20,000 people can pray inside at the same time. It's huge. In the middle, it has a big dome, and we have some semi-domes around, because the dome is like 4 tons heavy. So it presses down. So they try to hold it, shift the weight of the dome by building semi-domes to the sides. So the weight is shifted. Now it looks like a birthday cake. I forgot to mention the date. It was built between 1609 to 1617. And the groundwork took most of the years. So everything you see here is made by putting things together without hammer, without nails. So it was very fast. So making the ground strong, stable against earthquakes is the most difficult part. If you have a good ground, then you can build up very fast. Everything you see was made in just 2 years. Before the construction of before the conversion of the Hagia Sophia into a mosque 4 years ago, the Blue Mosque was the main mosque of Turkey. So whenever there was a big ceremony, the people would come here, the president would come here. We also have the Pope from Vatican. He also came here during his visit to Istanbul, and he prayed here for 2 minutes. and he prayed for the understanding of religion and so on. It was an interesting day. So now we have some elephant columns. You see the big columns here? Inside there's a fountain. Now I'm gonna show you the fountain. Look, it says again, Masha Allah. It means how beautiful is Allah and so on. I mean, how Allah made it so beautiful. And here is a verse from the Quran. It says that the Muslims in the paradise, they drank pure waters. They will drink pure waters. And this is the pure water, the symbolical. And you see there's a beautiful flower symbol here. Why did they do this inside the mosque? Not to take ritual washing, but to drink water. Because in the Ramadan, some people, they stay here for 10 days, at the last 10 days of Ramadan. And they want to drink some water, right? So this is for the people who stay in Ramadan. Today, unfortunately, they don't function. Let me try. No, it doesn't even move. Today, the women pray behind the shoe shelves. Not up there, because there's a still ongoing restoration up there. And the reason why women pray behind is when Muslims pray, they go down with the head and the back comes up, right? So that the man should not look at the women, because they have to think of God, not of women. So the women are behind or on the sides. So that's an Islamic tradition. The exit is not here. Here you entered probably. The exit is on that side. Look, it says exit to the left. So that's the exit. You see up there on the balcony, behind the tiles are these walls. Like on the outside, it's the same. Okay, now I'm gonna take my shoes and go to the inner courtyard, to the exit. If you have borrowed a headscarf, you have to return it over there. And it says on the carpet, no shoes, so just wait until you are on the red plastic here. And then the way leads to the front, and then you have to turn left. There is the inner courtyard. And that's the best place to take picture of the Blue Mosque. Look, there are a lot of domes. We have 20 domes like this, and there's a place for shadow. In the Ottoman times there were carpets. People used to sit here and chat, have water pipes and so on. It was a good time. They read books, and the students have also here a classroom and so on the open area. Today we don't have these things anymore, but look at the beauty of the Blue Mosque from the outside. So in the middle it says in Arabic, protect your prayers. So it says just pray your obligatory prayers, and especially the middle prayer, whatever that means. There are different interpretations of that. So look, the sun is setting. It looks beautiful on the Blue Mosque. And on the main gate are the titles of Sultan Ahmed. Of course, from the ancient times on every big construction, the kings, the pharaohs, the sultans, they wrote their own titles there. In the middle is a fountain in the courtyard. Previously you could wash yourself, but now it's not anymore. It's on the outside. On the outer courtyard you can take ritual washing. What's interesting is the constructor, the architect, Sedefkar Mehmed Ağa, is the student of the best architect in the Islamic world called Mimar Sinan, the architect Sinan. So what's interesting is the other student of Sinan built the Taj Mahal in India. So in that century, 17th century, they started a new architectural movement in the world. It's amazing for the history of the world. By the way, that place is the best place to take picture of the Blue Mosque with all the semi domes. By the way, these things, they are just to balance the dome, right? They don't have nothing, no bells and so on, just to shift the weight to the sides. Again, if you want to go to the toilet, use that exit. There are the toilets. I'm gonna show you something here. Look, there's a balcony here, and also a balcony here. You know why? Because when the mosque is full, Muslims pray also in that area. I prayed a lot in that area because the Blue Mosque is always full, in the Friday prayer especially. So we don't see the Imam on the inside. So there's a man standing here looking at the Imam on the inside and then showing us in which position the Imam is. So the people here look up to that man and also to that man, and they follow his guidance. And he also repeats what the Imam says because there is no acoustic outside. And to remind where Mecca is located, they also made some niches here on the outside, but not as beautiful as on the inside. You see, no inscriptions. Now they lit up the lights of the Blue Mosque, of the minarets. I'm gonna show you the ceiling of that fountain. That's the place to take the best picture of the Blue Mosque. Now I'm gonna get out of the Blue Mosque. Look, there are some places under restoration. There's the room of the Sultan I talked about earlier, but I can't show it to you now. So when you exit the Blue Mosque, you can follow the way to the right side and see the tomb of the Sultan Ahmed. Now it's closed because it's evening, but I'm still gonna show you where it is located. By the way, you can also buy headscarves from here if you don't want to bother with the blue headscarves they borrow you. It's much better here. Look, there is the tomb of the Blue Mosque. The tomb of Sultan Ahmed I, buried with his family members. Look, you can see inside. I don't know if it's open, but I think, yeah, look, they closed the lights just as I came. Good that you saw that. I'm gonna show you a good place where you can take picture of the Blue Mosque from the complete outside. There's the Hagia Sophia on the other side, and if you stay in the middle, you can take picture of the Blue Mosque together with the Hagia Sophia. Europeans are not used to this, but you can get on the grass. It's allowed, okay? Just go inside. And there might be some tigers like this, don't worry. Just look at the beauty of the Hagia Sophia and turn around. There you have it, the Blue Mosque. From far away, it looks magnificent. Okay, that was the Blue Mosque. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and watch the other videos, the ultimate guide to the different places of Istanbul. Istanbul is my love. I love it. I'm a tour guide here. It's my last day, as last week. I'm here since 12 years. I did everything here. I fell in love with the city, but I have to move back to Austria where I come from. Thank you for being with me.